Hello, everyone. I'd like to begin with a simple question. What did you eat today? Maybe it was a quick breakfast with cereal, a convenient lunch with a packaged sandwich, and dinner might have been a frozen pizza or a glass of diet soda. All these choices have one thing in common. They are ultra-processed foods. According to the latest research published in 2025, more than 50% of the daily calories consumed by Americans now come from this type of food. That is putting the hearts of millions, especially older adults, in danger. You might not smoke, you might avoid alcohol, and you might even exercise regularly. But if your meals are still filled with instant, low-fat, sugar-free, or convenient products, your risk of coronary artery disease, visceral fat buildup, insulin resistance, and heart attacks is still growing every single day. In this video, I'll explain what ultra-processed foods really are and why they're more dangerous than you think. We'll go over the most common additives silently damaging your heart, how artificial colors, sweeteners, flavorings, and industrial sugars can trigger heart attacks, the latest studies linking diets high in UPFs to heart-related deaths, and finally, how you can start making real changes today, even if you're already over 60. If you've always thought heart attacks were just a part of aging, this video may change your mind completely. And if you're worried about your own heart health or that of someone you love, this is information you should not ignore. Understanding the truth today could save a life tomorrow. Before we begin, if you find this topic important and helpful, please hit the follow button for this channel. Here I share clear, science-based, and practical heart health guidance, especially for older adults. Subscribing will make sure you never miss a new video and is also a great way to help spread this life-saving knowledge to others. Thank you for taking the time to watch. When people hear the term ultra-processed foods, they often think of fast food or junk food. But the reality is much broader, and these foods can show up in meals that seem perfectly healthy. According to the NOVA classification system, ultra-processed foods are industrial products that have gone through multiple stages of complex processing and contain little to no natural food ingredients. They are typically enhanced with additives to boost flavor, color, sweetness, or shelf life. Common examples of ultra-processed foods include flavored breakfast cereals, packaged cookies, sugar-sweetened or artificially sweetened beverages, frozen ready-to-eat meals, low-calorie snacks, crispy chips, industrial-style pizzas, energy drinks, and many products labeled diet or sugar-free. These items are not only widely available, but also make up a large portion of daily food intake, especially among older adults who live alone or rely on convenience foods. The concern is not just about poor nutrition. Many of these foods contain additives that may harm heart health. Among them, 4 groups stand out with growing scientific evidence linking them to a higher risk of heart attack: artificial flavorings, synthetic colorants, artificial sweeteners, and industrial sugars. Flavorings, for example, are often listed on product labels as natural flavors or artificial flavors. Although the names may sound harmless, these are synthetic compounds that can disrupt the endocrine system and trigger inflammatory responses in the body. Color additives like red 40, yellow 5, and blue 1 are commonly used to make foods look more appealing. These substances have no nutritional value, yet they may trigger inflammatory responses, damage blood vessel walls, and contribute to the formation of arterial plaque, a major factor behind heart attacks. Artificial sweeteners such as sucralose, saccharin, or acesulfame potassium are often found in diet sodas, low-calorie cookies, and sugar-free gum. While they contain no calories, studies have shown they can negatively impact the gut microbiome and disrupt blood sugar regulation. In addition, industrial sugars like fructose, maltodextrin, lactose, and inverted sugar are widely present in processed foods, even in products that don't taste especially sweet. These sugars can rapidly spike insulin levels, encourage the buildup of visceral fat, and increase the risk of insulin resistance and atherosclerosis. The combined effect of these elements raises the risk of blood vessel injury, clot formation, coronary artery blockage, and eventually heart attacks. What makes ultra-processed foods especially dangerous is that their effects are not immediately noticeable. People don't feel pain or fatigue, so they may not realize the silent damage happening inside the body. By the time symptoms show up, the harm has already occurred and may be advanced. Understanding the true nature of ultraprocessed foods is a critical first step in preventing serious cardiovascular consequences. So, if the everyday foods we rely on are quietly raising our risk of heart attack, what can we eat to protect our heart health? The answer is coming up in the next section. To fully understand the dangers of ultraprocessed foods, we need to look closely at how additives and industrial ingredients affect the cardiovascular system. Our heart is a non-stop working organ that relies on a healthy network of blood vessels to deliver oxygen and nutrients. Anything that damages blood vessels or disrupts blood flow can lead to a heart attack. This is where ultraprocessed foods begin to cause serious harm. Artificial additives such as colorings, flavorings, industrial sugars, and artificial sweeteners can trigger inflammation at the cellular level. When the body detects a synthetic chemical, the immune system responds as if it were a foreign invader, leading to chronic inflammation. This type of inflammation doesn't cause immediate symptoms, but it silently damages the structure of blood vessel walls, reducing their flexibility, especially in the coronary arteries that feed the heart.
When the blood vessels become damaged, the body responds by forming plaque to patch the injury. However, these plaques are unstable and can rupture over time. When a plaque breaks open, blood platelets rush to the site to form a clot. If that clot forms inside an already narrowed coronary artery, it can completely block blood flow to the heart muscle, causing a heart attack. Beyond inflammation, another serious concern is insulin resistance caused by excessive intake of industrial sugars and artificial sweeteners. When you consume foods high in fructose or maltodextrin, your blood sugar rises quickly, forcing the pancreas to release more insulin to bring levels back down. Over time, the body becomes less responsive to insulin, leading to insulin resistance. This is a key factor behind visceral fat buildup, high blood pressure, and abnormal blood lipid levels, all of which are major risk factors for heart attacks. Visceral fat does not only accumulate around the belly, it also builds up around the heart in what is known as pericardial fat. This fat can put physical pressure on the heart, interfere with its pumping function, and release inflammatory substances that directly harm heart muscle cells and coronary vessels. This explains why many people who do not appear overweight still face a high risk of heart attack due to hidden fat deposits inside the body. Another critical factor is dyslipidemia, especially the rise in small, dense LDL particles, a dangerous form of bad cholesterol. Ultra-processed foods, particularly those high in sugar and refined starches, have been shown to increase this type of LDL. Unlike larger LDL particles, these small, dense particles more easily penetrate the endothelium of blood vessels and adhere to artery walls, accelerating plaque formation and raising the risk of coronary blockage. Artificial sweeteners, though calorie-free, also have negative effects on the gut microbiome. Recent studies reveal that disruptions in gut microbial balance are linked to chronic inflammation and a higher risk of heart disease. Some sweeteners may also interfere with insulin signaling, leading to blood sugar imbalances in older adults, even when the food does not contain obvious sugars. When these factors combine, they create a dangerous chain of biological reactions. Chronic inflammation damages vessel walls. Insulin resistance promotes visceral fat buildup and metabolic dysfunction. Plaques form and arteries narrow. Eventually, all it takes is a single blood clot forming in the wrong place, and blood flow to the heart is cut off. Within minutes, part of the heart muscle begins to die. Without emergency care, the entire heart may stop beating.
What's frightening is that you won't feel anything while all this is happening. You may go about your daily life, walking, cooking, even doing light exercise, completely unaware that serious damage is silently accumulating in your body every single day. This is why so many heart attacks are called sudden, when in fact they've been developing for years through daily dietary choices. So, after everything we've discussed, is there scientific evidence confirming that these additive-laden foods are truly linked to death from heart disease? Many people still ask whether there is real scientific evidence that ultra-processed foods and food additives actually cause heart attacks.
The answer is yes, and not just one study, but multiple large-scale investigations involving hundreds of thousands of people over many years have confirmed this link. Among them, a study from the UK Biobank published in 2025 stands out as one of the most extensive and credible. The UK Biobank is a long-term medical research project in the United Kingdom that has followed nearly 500,000 adults for several years. For the specific study on ultra-processed foods and mortality, researchers selected over 186,000 adults and monitored them over a period of 11 years. The goal was to determine the relationship between the level of ultra-processed food consumption, specific additives, and the risk of death from cardiovascular disease. The results revealed a clear trend. People whose diets included more than 30% ultra-processed foods had a 6% higher risk of early death compared to those who consumed less. When ultra-processed foods made up more than 50% of total caloric intake, the risk of death rose by nearly 20%, especially deaths caused by cardiovascular disease. What's particularly noteworthy is that even after adjusting for age, gender, smoking status, and pre-existing conditions, the link between ultra-processed foods and heart disease remains significant. The study went beyond overall consumption and analyzed the impact of individual additive groups. Specifically, 5 categories of additives were found to be strongly associated with increased cardiovascular mortality: artificial sweeteners, synthetic flavorings, color additives, preservatives, and industrial sugars. Among them, artificial sweeteners such as sucralose and aspartame showed a particularly strong association with increased rates of heart attacks in older adults, even when total calorie intake was not high. Industrial sugars, especially fructose and glucose syrup, do more than just rapidly raise blood sugar levels. They also trigger an excessive insulin response. Over time, this leads to a higher risk of insulin resistance, metabolic dysfunction, and visceral fat accumulation. These factors have been shown to negatively affect heart health, even in individuals who do not have diabetes. This confirms that you don't need to have a pre-existing condition to suffer harm from ultra-processed foods. Another alarming finding is the link between artificial color additives and blood vessel inflammation. People who consume foods high in colorants, such as red 40 or yellow 5, tend to have higher levels of vascular inflammation and a greater buildup of arterial plaque. These plaques are a major contributor to artery blockage and heart attacks. In addition, the study found that individuals who often consume foods labeled as diet, sugar-free, or low-calorie tend to ingest large amounts of artificial sweeteners and other additives without realizing it. This leads to a common paradox in modern society, where people trying to eat healthy may actually be increasing their risk of heart disease because they don't fully understand what's in the food they're choosing. The UK Biobank study is considered highly reliable due to its long follow-up period, large sample size, and strict data collection methods. It not only confirmed that ultra-processed foods are harmful, but also showed that the level of risk increases in direct proportion to the amount and frequency of consumption. In other words, the more additives you consume, the higher your risk of heart attack, regardless of whether you're managing your weight. This raises an important question. If the statistics are this clear, why are ultra-processed foods still so common and present in the daily lives of millions? The answer is coming up next. Now that we understand the mechanisms and scientific evidence linking ultra-processed foods to heart attack risk, the next question is, which specific foods are we eating that contain the most dangerous ingredients for heart health? In reality, many familiar, everyday items found in our meals fall into high-risk categories that often go unnoticed. At the top of the list are sugar-sweetened beverages and diet sodas. These two types of drinks are prime examples of products loaded with either artificial sweeteners or industrial sugars. While they may not be high in calories, they disrupt blood sugar regulation and damage the gut microbiome, increasing the risk of inflammation and vascular injury. Energy drinks, flavored vitamin waters, and many sports drinks also belong on this list of concern. Next are industrial breakfast cereals, often marketed as high in fiber and vitamins. In truth, many of these products contain significant amounts of artificial sweeteners, synthetic colors, flavor additives, and industrial sugars. Some cereals contain as many as 5 or 6 different additives in just one small serving. Labels that say honey flavor, vanilla taste, or strawberry blast often refer to mixtures of chemical compounds with no natural source. Packaged snacks, cookies, chips, energy bars, and even protein bars labeled as healthy are also ultra-processed. These items are full of preservatives, texture stabilizers, and often added food coloring to boost visual appeal. Regular consumption of these products results in continuous exposure to synthetic chemicals that the cardiovascular system cannot safely process.
Frozen, ready-to-eat meals like industrial pizzas, packaged lasagna, chicken nuggets, or instant noodles belong to a particularly dangerous category of foods. In addition to being high in sodium, they also contain a long list of additives such as thickeners, artificial flavorings, color stabilizers, and flavor enhancers. These substances contribute to elevated blood pressure, alter blood vessel function, and trigger systemic inflammation, all of which damage arterial walls and increase the risk of heart attacks. Another group to be cautious about includes foods labeled low-fat, sugar-free, or diet. While they may sound healthy, these products often replace fats and sugars with synthetic compounds like maltodextrin, sucralose, acesulfame potassium, and carrageenan. These ingredients are not heart-friendly and may even provoke angina in individuals with a history of coronary artery disease. When shopping for groceries or packaged items, always read the ingredient list carefully. A simple rule is this: if a product contains more than 5 ingredients, especially ones you don't recognize or can't pronounce, it's likely an ultra-processed food. Terms like natural flavors, artificial flavors, color 102, aspartame, corn syrup, polysorbate, or sodium benzoate are all additives that should be limited. Not everyone can eliminate processed foods completely, but the key is to recognize which ones pose the greatest risk and reduce their intake. Making small, gradual changes can significantly ease the burden on your cardiovascular system, especially for those over the age of 60. So, if everyday foods are quietly threatening your heart, what are the early warning signs that a heart attack may be approaching? In the next section, we'll help you recognize them before it's too late. Not all heart attacks begin with the dramatic chest pain often seen in movies. In reality, many heart attacks in older adults occur quietly, with no obvious symptoms, and can easily be mistaken for more routine health issues. Understanding both typical and atypical signs of a heart attack can lead to earlier detection and potentially save a life. Chest pain remains the most common warning sign. The sensation may feel like sharp pain, tightness, burning, or heaviness in the center of the chest. It may last for several minutes or come and go. However, in people over 60, chest pain may be mild or entirely absent. Instead, a person may feel slight discomfort, mild pressure, or a vague sense of unease in the chest that can easily be overlooked. Shortness of breath is another important symptom. A person may feel winded while walking, climbing stairs, or even while resting. When shortness of breath is accompanied by unusual fatigue, especially if it occurs suddenly or without another clear explanation, it should be taken seriously. It may come before chest pain, appear alongside it, or occur on its own. Nausea, vomiting, bloating, or indigestion are symptoms that are often mistaken for digestive issues. However, many heart attacks in older adults begin with a feeling of nausea or pain in the upper abdomen. If these symptoms occur with fatigue, cold sweats, or a racing heart, a cardiac cause should be considered. Pain in other parts of the body, such as the jaw, shoulder, back, or left arm, is also common but frequently overlooked. A person may experience numbness, tingling, or pain that radiates from the chest to the back or down the left arm. In some cases, back pain is the only symptom, which can delay diagnosis. Cold sweating, especially when you are at rest, not exercising, and not in a hot environment, is also a warning sign. This is the body's response when the heart is not receiving enough blood and must work harder to compensate.
Unusual fatigue is one of the most overlooked symptoms. If you feel exhausted after everyday tasks like tidying up the house, walking a short distance, or even just getting out of bed in the morning with no energy, it could be an early sign of reduced heart function. Some people describe a feeling of anxiety, restlessness, a racing heartbeat, or a vague sense that something is wrong without knowing why. These are responses from the autonomic nervous system that may occur before a heart attack. In women and older adults, heart attack symptoms often do not follow the classic pattern. They may simply feel tired, experience neck pain, jaw discomfort, or indigestion. But just because the symptoms are mild does not mean they are less dangerous. Any sudden, unexplained, or unusual change in how you feel, especially if it differs from your normal health, should be taken seriously. The most important point is not to wait for severe chest pain before taking action. Many people ignore the early signs, dismiss small symptoms, and by the time they reach the hospital, significant heart damage has already occurred. The earlier a heart attack is detected, the better the chances for successful treatment and preventing permanent damage to the heart muscle. So, if you can recognize the symptoms, what can you do to prevent another heart attack or avoid the first one entirely? One of the most impactful changes you can make to protect your heart is reducing your intake of ultraprocessed foods. This doesn't mean you have to completely eliminate familiar favorites. It means learning to make smarter choices at every meal. For people over 60, simple but consistent changes can make a significant difference in heart health within just a few months. The first rule is to prioritize whole, unprocessed, or minimally processed foods. Items without labels, ingredient lists, or long shelf lives are usually the best options. Fresh vegetables, fruits, fish, lean meats, eggs, legumes, and nuts should make up the bulk of your diet. When grocery shopping, focus on the fresh food sections rather than the packaged aisles. If you do need to buy packaged foods, learn to read the ingredient labels carefully. Avoid products with long ingredient lists, especially those containing chemical-sounding names or codes like E102, aspartame, fructose syrup, monosodium glutamate, or anything ending in 8 or O's. A healthier product should have fewer than 5 ingredients, and you should be able to recognize and understand each one. To replace sugary drinks, opt for water, mineral water, or diluted lemon water without added sugar. If you prefer a hint of flavor, add slices of orange, cucumber, or fresh mint. This not only quenches your thirst, but also keeps harmful additives out of your system. For older adults, staying well hydrated each day also helps lower blood pressure and improve circulation. Instead of packaged breakfast cereals, choose plain oats cooked with water or unsweetened milk and top with walnuts, chia seeds, banana, or fresh apple slices. This meal is simple, easy to digest, free of additives, and helps stabilize blood sugar. Seniors should prioritize foods with a low glycemic index to avoid sudden spikes in blood sugar levels. If you often snack, try replacing packaged snacks with roasted nuts like unsalted almonds, pumpkin seeds, or sunflower seeds. These provide healthy fats, fiber, and help keep you full without spiking insulin levels. If you're craving something sweet, a few dried dates or raisins can be a good option, as long as you choose varieties without added sugars or preservatives and eat them in small amounts. One important step is to have a few simple meals prepared in your refrigerator to avoid relying on fast food when you're hungry. You can boil eggs in advance, roast a tray of vegetables, make a pot of chicken soup, or prepare a salad with olive oil dressing. These ready-to-eat choices help you avoid turning to ultra-processed foods out of convenience when your energy is low. Cutting back on ultra-processed foods doesn't have to happen all at once or in an extreme way. Just start with one meal a day. For example, today you might replace breakfast with oats, and tomorrow you switch soda for plain water. Each better choice is a small step toward protecting your heart. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. If today you eat fewer ultra-processed foods than you did yesterday, you've already taken a step to reduce your heart attack risk. When these changes become habits, they no longer feel forced. Instead, they become part of a lifestyle built around health and intention. Most importantly, don't feel like you have to do it alone. If you live with family, share this knowledge with them and make changes together. Support from those around you can help make these changes stick and lead to long-term success. We've just taken a journey together, from understanding what ultra-processed foods are, to how they silently damage your arteries and heart, to the overlooked symptoms, scientific studies, and heartbreaking real-life consequences. One truth is undeniable. Ultra-processed foods are silently destroying the hearts of millions every year. And for those over 60, the greatest danger may come not from the food itself, but from underestimating the risk and not having the right information. You don't need to become a nutrition expert or change your entire lifestyle overnight to protect your heart. You only need to start with 3 simple steps. Step 1 is awareness. Open your pantry and fridge and start reading ingredient labels. If a product has more than 5 unfamiliar ingredients or includes artificial sweeteners, color additives, synthetic flavors, or preservatives, consider replacing it. Step 2 is making small swaps. You don't have to give everything up at once. Today, switch out your snack for unsalted nuts. Tomorrow, replace soda with water. This week, try cooking dinner instead of relying on frozen meals. These small changes add up. After just 1 month, you may notice more energy, better sleep, and a stronger sense of well-being. Step 3 is consistency. Try planning a week's worth of meals with as few packaged items as possible. Set aside 1 day to shop and prep vegetables, meat, and fish to make cooking easier during the week. If you live alone, consider sharing meals with a friend or family member to stay motivated. Heart health doesn't come from strict diets. It comes from making better choices 1 day at a time. Remember, your heart doesn't need perfect food. It simply needs you to stop feeding it chemicals it cannot process. A heart free from clogs and chronic inflammation can keep serving you for years to come, safely and reliably. Every smart choice you make today takes you 1 step further from sudden cardiac risk tomorrow. If you're still watching this video, it means you truly care about your health or the health of someone you love. Let that concern become action. Clean out your kitchen. Rethink your eating habits. Share this video with someone you care about and start protecting your heart from the simplest place, your next meal. Thank you for staying with us until the very end. Be sure to follow this channel for more valuable content on senior health, disease prevention, and heart-friendly nutrition. 1 small change today could save your heart tomorrow, and your heart is worth protecting.